is why. I'm guessing I have to have some sort of cookie set. So that's not gonna work. Let's change my view. Editor view, open on cross-browser testing. Editor layout, all I want. I don't want editor view. I want the live preview. It's because I'm not logged in. It's getting mad at me. But what I can do is I can copy this link address. I can come over here and then run this URL myself. Nope, can't do that. Oh man, it's the full, but I just don't know. Okay, that's how that is. Let's try that. Ah. 2FG. I wonder if that 2F isn't. Yeah, the 2F isn't supposed to be there. Okay, so yeah, that's that. So I'll just log in to CodePen and show you what's going on. Give me a minute while I do this. Perfect. Okay. That's better. That took a lot of work, but I may actually get to show you wait for today. So I'm just going to load the whole thing because why not? And then here I'm just going to load the base there, and let's see if that gives me any grief. Here, I'll just do that. Actually, I can't make up my mind. I'm so scatterbrained. Okay, so I'm going to load that. I'm going to expect the button to be there. And one issue is that when the page loads, these might actually be buttons. So I need to get to just this frame. Maybe I don't want full. Maybe I want full page. No, not that. Whoops. Change view, live view is probably what I want. Man, so much work because this is inside of an iframe itself. I will copy. Let's see, s.codepen. I can't load it. What happens when I type kittens? Oh my gosh, there's a kitten. Hello, kitten. Huzzah! Kittens. That's cute. Super cute. What's on debug mode? Ooh, maybe debug is what I want. Yeah, debug is what I want. I wonder what the difference is there. I wonder if debug is like a temporary URL. Maybe you can't access it from. No, you can. Huh. Cool. In that case, maybe the URL doesn't stick around so long. So they're like, hey, yeah. Hey, this URL is only going to work for a little bit of time. Maybe something like that. What happened? Cannot navigate to an invalid URL. Oh, because I'm an s.codepen. That's what's going on. Oops. In my configuration file, I was on just straight up CodePen. One of these days it's gonna work. I'm sick. Very sick. Same issue. What the heck? This is supposed to be super easy. This is supposed to just, like, what's the point of CodePen? I can just do things. Oh, that's what things went wrong. I didn't have a / to begin this. Yeah, it's a /. Oh, it's work. 15th time's charm. There we go. Okay. My button doesn't even show up on this one because I don't think I added a button to the page. I didn't save it between when I logged in and when I logged out. I did not. So let's add that. My button, I'm going to use a class. Actually, I don't need to use a class. I was going to use a class because I was expecting these buttons at the top to be up there. But since we did all the work to get that, so it isn't the case, it's better. And I'm also going to knock this timeout down just to 1500, just to save us a little bit of time when running through everything. So back to my test. If I comment out this pause, when I check that, this should be false. Actually, I think is existing is going to be true. Not entirely sure about that, but we'll see. It all passed. I wasn't expecting that because clicking that button shouldn't have worked because it shouldn't have been on the, like, it shouldn't have been visible. But I can check that is visible is true, is set to be true, and this should fail because it shouldn't actually load anything until, like, it should try and run it right now. Yeah. So you never saw the text actually appear until later. And so if I add this pause in here for 2,000 seconds, or 2,000 milliseconds, 2 seconds, it should, why am I installing WebdriverIO? Oh, I hope that didn't just break everything because I'm going to have to install it again. Maybe it didn't. Okay, looks like it didn't. So it's waiting long enough, and then it's going to pass. This is the example I was really trying to build, which is you've got fonts, and the thing is you can wait 2 seconds, but that's not always going to be great because you don't know if it takes 2 seconds or if it takes half a second. So waiting that long can be an issue. Instead, we kind of want to say, I want to wait until this class name is loaded on my body tag, and then I want to go forward with all my stuff. So I'm going to get rid of that, and then I'm in here. I'm going to say browser.wait wait for. What am I going to wait for? Here's my wait for timeout here. I can wait for visible. I don't want to wait for visible. That's just the other stuff. So let's see. I may need to do a wait for text, wait for value. Let's go to the API. There's a whole section on waits. If I can type wait for enabled, wait for exist, wait for selected value visible. I think I'm just gonna have to do a wait until. Basically, I want to wait until a class has been set. So I'm gonna do that. This would be a good command to add is wait for class. Actually, I could wait for, that's what I can do. Of course I can do this. I can wait for exist and pass in the class as a selector. So browser.waitForExist, and then all I'm gonna do is wait for that class that I was looking for to be on my body element. So body that, and we'll set a default a timeout of 5 seconds. And what's the default timeout is Yeah, it normally waits 500 milliseconds, which is half a second, and that's not a very long time when you're. I mean, hopefully your fonts don't take 5 seconds to load, but maybe if I set this to 2000, and what I can do, I can actually set this. I'll leave this as a default, and it's going to fail when I run the test because it hasn't actually loaded that. So the body tag is there, but an element with a class, a body element with a class of no-till regular loaded isn't there. And so this is going to fail to load. And if I run npm test, we're going to get a wait for error pop up. Oh, I'm such a liar. Why did that work? Did I save it? Maybe I didn't save it. So 1500. I'll set this back to 5000. Oh, jeez. And save it. And then I'll run this again. And I wonder if this is loading like the old version. It still doesn't make much sense to me. But let's see. Oh, I don't know where that log level came from. It's not a terrible thing. Okay. There, so you see here, it's posting these selectors, looking for that element. And it looks like the timeout, sorry, it looks like this wait for exist timeout wasn't timing out. So that's interesting. Wait for exist 5000, same as browser wait for exist 5000. Time in milliseconds. With these wait for commands, you can have the time to wait before doing another check. And then you also have wait for an element for the provided amount of milliseconds to be present within the DOM. So if I set that to 0, that should fail. It shouldn't actually wait for that. Yeah, this is what I was expecting. Element still not existing after 0 milliseconds. And then if I set that to 1000. So let's go ahead and look in the source code for wait for exist and see what timeout they use. Oh, you know what? No, that's in our configuration file. Here's the wait for timeout. That's what's going on. It's actually set to 10,000, which is different than what the default in here sets it to. So milliseconds gets passed in as this.options.wait for timeout. And let's see. I'm going to do a quick search in here to see where wait for timeout is defined. So those are all examples. We don't want examples. We want the actual code. That's where it's using this.options wait for timeout. That's examples again. Yeah, so here's that default interval. That default wait is 500 milliseconds. If I go into my configuration file and I comment this out, it'll probably fail. I'm expecting it'll fail at 500 milliseconds. So when we run this, it should say still not existing after 500 milliseconds. After 1000 milliseconds. So it's not using this value. It's using the value not here in the docs, but up here in config parser. It's using that value. So config parser is what is reading through my WebdriverIO config file and kind of compiling the default configs with the configs you passed in. And so it's falling back to this value. And then if you were running this in standalone mode where you weren't using the test runner, it would default to 500 milliseconds, which is where you get this